Dr. Birol, how do you get the balance right for urgent progress on climate change during a global energy crisis of this magnitude?
The world has never ever witnessed an energy crisis in such a depth and complexity. And I believe it is just the beginning of the crisis we are seeing now. It may be with us for some time to come.
You're here in Australia, at least in part, to try and persuade the Australian government not to let Australia expand its gas and coal production. Why shouldn't Australia be taking advantage of this difficult but dynamic market?
In terms of coal, you mentioned Australian coal. I would be very careful as an investor. Forget its impact on the climate change, putting our climate goals at risk. As a business, from a business point of view, I think it may be risky to put money on coal to think that in the future people may need more coal for their energy demand. The good days of coal in a few years of time may be over. If we didn't have this Russia invasion of Ukraine, we were seeing that the coal markets were already very weak. So there is putting money in the fossil fuels have a climate risk, but also, in my view, a serious business risk as well to make them standard investments.
There are those who say that the fast transition to renewables has contributed to the gaps in energy supply around the world. What do you say to that?
I find it politically misleading. It takes the spotlight from a country that invaded another country to people who are pushing for clean energy policies. One should be very careful to make such arguments, and it may well have some unintended consequences.
We've got South Pacific nations at the moment calling on Australia to not to expand its coal and gas production. It's the same message that you are delivering here in Australia. Do you think that message has got through to the Australian government?
I really hope so. I had a good discussion with the Prime Minister and the ministers here. I think Australia seems to be on track with its new climate goals, and I hope that the rhetoric and the action follow each other, and the Australian government will see that its energy economy is going to support the new global energy economy emerging. And this is also important for Australia, so that Australia is not left behind with the old energy system, but also one of the front runners of the new energy system. But at the same time, there will be a transition period. Australian gas, the existing gas, will still contribute to the global markets. But to think that Australia's economy's future lies in coal or gas would be, in my view, not the right way to think.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.